안녕하세요 친구들. 오늘은 스폰용 reading the elf and the shoemaker를 읽어볼 거예요. 자, 그 다음에 regular part 4를 이제 해볼 거고요. 다음이면 다음 주면은 마지막 part 5를 한 다음에 선생님이 문제가 있어요. 뭐냐면요, 이거 있잖아요. 근데 이 파일 안에 이 F 여기 또 있는 거예요. 선생님도 붙여해가지고 어떻게 할까요? 이것도 똑같긴 한데요. 물론 어떻게 할까요? 친구들. 그러면 요거가 끝난 다음에 이걸 시작을 할까요? 아니면 그렇기로 하고요. 잠깐 보시고요. 오늘은 이걸 읽어볼게요. The Elf and the Shoemaker. Chapter 1. Making Shoes. Once an old shoemaker lived with his wife in a room above their workshop. Each day he laid out his leather, drew different shoe shapes, cut them out, and sewed them together. Then he stretched the shoe shape out the wooden foot, cut out more leather, and sewed it on. Finally, he cut out thick soles, made holes in them with a huge needle, and sewed the soles onto the shoes. People loved watching the shoemaker at work. Nobody could go past his workshop without looking in. Ooh, look at these heels! At the end of the day, the air was clouded of people racing to buy his latest shoes. Chapter 2. Bad Business. One day, the shoemaker's wife's speed travel cart passed by the window with chipped shoes paint on the side. At first, she kept quiet. She didn't want to worry her husband, but slowly the crowd out to the monster because smaller and smaller. Where is everyone? I think you should look outside, dear. A crafty shoe seller had set up a table at the end of their street. His shoes were badly sewn with poor leather, but they sold them at a virgin price. Buy your cheap shoes here. This is terrible, said the shoemaker. He's putting me out of business, and his shoes are awful, said the shoemaker's wife. But the local people were delighted. Now they could buy 2 pairs of shoes for the price of 1. Each day the cheap shoe seller arrived with a new load of shoes. How can he make them so quickly? Wondered the shoemaker. He must have a lot of people working for him. The next few months were miserable for the shoemaker and his wife. With his little business, they were running out of money. Soon, the shoemaker could only afford each letter to make 1 more pair of shoes. I'm ruined. He cut out the shoe shape. He laid them on his work table. Then he yawned. I'm too tired to shoe these today, he sighed. Early next morning, he went downstairs and stopped in amazement. Am I still dreaming? He asked himself. Who there on his work table stood a perfect pair of shoes? Someone had nearly sewn up the piece of the leather. One more lace shiny buckles on the front. The shoemaker was baffled. This is lovely, said the shoemaker's wife, putting the shoes in the window. Before long, a rich gentleman came in. Those shoes are just what I'm looking for, he cried. They're much better than the cheap pairs down the road. And he paid for the shoes with a solid gold coin. Keep the change. Now, the shoemaker could buy enough leather to make 2 pairs of shoes, and he cut them out. He saw how late it was. I'll finish them tomorrow, he drew. But the next morning, the job was already done. 2 neat pairs of shoes were waiting for him. Fancy both, Edward. I'm never letting you of adding both. That day, the potter shoemaker had two more happy customers, Olin and Julius. Now he had enough money to buy a leather for 4 pairs of shoes. After cutting out the leather, the shoemaker locked up and went to bed. The next morning, he couldn't believe his luck. On the table stood 4 perfect pairs of shoes. It must be magic, he cried. Are you sure lock the door? And so it went on. The more later the shoemaker cut, the more shoes he found in the morning. Chapter 5. The Two Rivers. This is life. Within weeks, business was booming. The shoemaker had plenty of money and very little to do. He was a happy man. The cheap shoe seller was not so happy. He had angry customers to deal with. My shoes broke after 3 days. I want my money back. And all desperate about his awful shoes. No one wanted to buy them. Often in an evening was a knock at the shoemaker's door. It was a shoe seller. What can I do for you? Asked the shoemaker. You can stop ruining my business, said the seller. He picked up one of the shoemaker's new shoes and stared quietly. And you can give me back my happers, he snorted. What happers? We don't know what you mean, it squealed. The shoe seller stormed out of the workshop. The shoemaker and his wife looked at each other. What do you think is making our shoes? Whispered the shoemaker. I don't know, said his wife, but let's find out. Chapter 6. The Secret Shoemakers. That night they decided to stay awake and see what happened. They hid behind some coats in a corner of the workshop. Everything was quiet. Until midnight, 2 little elves rushed in, wearing nothing but rags. They sat down at the table and quickly began to sew. The shoemaker and his wife listened carefully to the elf chatter. This is better than making cheap shoes in the rotten attic, said the first elf. I wish the other elf had escaped as well, said the second. Never mind, repeated the first elf. If we put the weak shoe seller out of business, the other elf will be free too, cried the second. Hurry up for we spot. I'm already done. Race you down the street. As the sun began to rise, they gave first the last shoe and disappeared through the door. The shoemaker and his wife were contrite. I think I'm going crazy, said the shoemaker. Were those really elves? They're impractical. His wife nodded. And it's not like that shoe seller is forcing other elves to work for him, she said. No wonder she can make so many shoes. Chapter 7. Rebate. Over breakfast the next day, the shoemaker and his wife discussed how they could help the elves. But 10 o'clock, there was already a room full of people wanting to buy the shoemaker's new shoes. If we keep selling these lovely shoes, said his wife, the shoe seller will go bust. Immediately, but they had sold 30 pairs. They were eating lunch when they heard the sound of a cart. The cheap shoe seller was leaving early. The mob of angry customers were hurrying after him, shaking their fists and pelting him with broken shoes. They're going to cheat and we want their comeback. The shoemaker and his wife resigned with relief. How can we ever thank our 2 helpers? Wondered the shoemaker. Let's make them some proper clothes, said his wife. All day the shoemaker's wife worked at the sewing machine, making their suits for the elf. The shoemaker made 2 tiny pairs of shoes. That night, instead of leaving Lester shape on the table, the shoemaker left 2 pairs of clothes. Then he and his wife hid behind the coat again and waited for the elf to arrive. Wow, this must be all for us. I never worn shoes before. The elves were delighted with his new outfit. They scrambled into them and danced around the room. How handsome we look! There they are, called the boys from the street. A second later, there were 14 more elves in the workshop. The 2 elves stopped dancing. Hey, said one, how did you all escape? The shoe seller let us go, cried an excited elf. He's giving up selling shoes. We put the spells on our sewing to make the shoes all fall apart. Now we're going to celebrate, said another. Come on, and you can tell us why we dress like before. Laughing and joking, the elves skipped off down the street. The shoemaker and his wife smiled as we watched them go. They might have lost their magic carpets, but now they were in business again. They brought plenty of customers and a lot of ideas for new shoes. As for elves, they never sew another shoe. The end. Bye bye. See you next time. 하면 섭섭하겠죠? 이 방법은 오늘은 책을 보여주지 않겠습니다. Part 4 이렇게 적을게요. 자, Part 4. 자, 그럼 furious 한번 같이 읽어볼까요? 먼저 furious between billion sign, juicy, grapefruit, lick, sneaky, creep, making of, solve, mystery, grain, cross, pass. 자, 그리고 자, 요거는 furious. A 형용사, 경노한, 날뛰는. bitten, biting 이랑 헷갈릴 수도 있지만 bitten입니다. bitten, 부동사. 자, 여기는 bit의 과거 분사, 이기다. failure, 부동사. 한숨, 쉬다, 짖다. sign, 동사. 잠깐만요. billion, 나쁜 사람, 악한, 악당. sign, 팔, 부동사. 한숨 쉬다, 짖다. juicy, 이스구, 명사. 과일 따위가 즙액, 수분이 많은. grapefruit, 명사. 그레이프 프루트, 귤과 비슷한 열매로 미국 남부산에 열리고요. lick, 부동사,을 뭐뭐를 핥다, 먹다. sneaky, 형용사, 몰래 하는 비겁함. creep, 명사. 너무 싫은 사람. 자, making up. making up는 아무것도 없고요. 이거는 급히 달아나다는 뜻이에요. solve는 부동사, 문제를 풀다, 해결하다. mystery and 명사, 신비, 불가사의 비밀. 다음에 grain은 and 명사고요. 명사는 알갱이란 뜻이고요. 다음에 cross는 a 형용사, 화난 이란 뜻. pass, 부동사, 이야기의 행동 따위의 일시적, 중단하다, 멈추다란 뜻이에요. 자, 그럼 이제 진짜 안녕 할 차례예요. 선생님 가야 돼요 이제. 안녕, see you next time, bye bye.